Grandma just wanted him to make a name for himself, but unexpectedly, he picked up a bottle and smashed it over the city inspector's head. He didn't run far before stopping again. His companion asked what was wrong, and he said the other party still didn't know his name. Then he hurriedly ran back. At this moment, the city inspector urgently told his men to catch the boy who had ambushed him, but as soon as his men left, the bottle appeared in front of him again. He told the city inspector that he wasn't just a boy, but Loki. Then he struck the city inspector's head again. Because of his arrogance, he was taken to the police station. Soon the local boss heard about the incident and sent people to get Loki out. They asked Loki why he did it, and Loki said he wanted to make a name for himself. At this point, the boss didn't know that before long, Loki would become the true underground emperor. Even the president would have to look at his face before making a move. The reason he was so obsessed was all because of his mother. It turned out that from the moment he was born, his mother raised him alone. She worked several jobs a day, just to barely support Loki, but because she didn't have a husband, she was often harassed by men. Faced with others' gossip, his mother could only hide in a corner and cry. Until one day, his mother fell ill from exhaustion. Loki took out all the pocket money he had saved over the years, but the doctor told him it wasn't even enough to buy a painkiller. His mother knew she wouldn't make it through the night. The only legacy she could leave her son was her last words. She told her son that he must make a name for himself in the future, to have power and influence. This set Loki's lifelong pursuit, but his mother had only given him a single goal. But she never told him how to achieve that goal. That night, as he was pondering how he could reach it, a beggar suddenly stopped him. Loki told him he had no money, but to his surprise, the beggar handed his own money to Loki. However, Loki said it was nowhere near enough. He needed more. The beggar told him that if he wanted money, he should beg, and if he wanted even more money, he should steal. Then the beggar grabbed a passerby, and sure enough, the passerby threw a wad of cash on the ground. If that still wasn't enough, only power could bring him more money. Loki was curious about how to obtain power. The beggar told him that people with power are born in places of power. Not long after, Loki arrived in Mumbai and joined an organization that shined shoes to make a living. But recently, the city inspectors kept giving them trouble. Their boss asked who among them was willing to teach the inspector a lesson. Just as the boss thought no one would volunteer, Loki slowly raised his hand. Just like that, the boss was impressed by Loki's ruthlessness and began to put him in important positions. 15 years later, however, Loki was captured by the son of a gang leader because Loki had suppressed his father for 15 years. Today, the son wanted to avenge his father. He even called in the butcher because it was his birthday and he wanted to use Loki's heart as a birthday snack. But to the son's surprise, Loki wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he started singing him a birthday song, which terrified the henchmen around them. Intimidated, the son ordered his men to kill Loki. One of the henchmen immediately rushed at Loki with gasoline, but Loki kicked him away and the henchman's torch set him on fire. Then Loki grabbed a hanging hook and lowered himself down. One fearless henchman immediately charged at him, but Loki stomped him to death on the spot. Loki told everyone that he had come to Mumbai as a child, and back then, it felt like he had fallen into a furnace, beaten constantly, just to get 2 meals a day. He said that he was like steel thrown into a forge, hammered again and again, until he was finally forged into a sharp blade, and a blade knows only how to kill. As soon as he finished speaking, the prince's henchmen rushed at him. Even though Loki's hands were bound with iron chains, it didn't affect his performance at all. In no time, he had bled out every henchman who came at him. Afterwards, Loki wiped the blood off his dagger with the prince's clothes, but he didn't kill the prince. Instead, he told him to run for his life because he wanted to play a game of cat and mouse. The prince immediately jumped on a motorcycle and sped away, while the remaining henchmen all drew their weapons to stop Loki. Loki killed his way forward as he walked, and in no time, he burst out of the basement, cutting down any henchman who dared approach. Just as the prince thought he was about to escape, Loki knocked them down with a shovel. Then he swung the shovel left and right, quickly taking care of the rest of the henchmen. Seeing this, the prince hurriedly ran to the dock. Even though he called in a large group of henchmen, they were still no match for Loki. Loki picked up a steel bar and quickly took care of the group. No matter how hard the prince tried to escape, he was still caught by Loki. No. At that moment, the reinforcements saw Loki sharpening his knife at the dock, and they were so frightened that they immediately turned back. However, as Loki's reputation grew, his boss, Brother Huzi, began to feel threatened. So, he wanted to put Loki in his place, but unexpectedly, a car suddenly drove up.